I'm writing a paper on the Michael Brown shooting for my English class. So I'm going to open Word. And this I'm just going to use to take notes and copy down what websites I'm using. Then I go in Google Chrome. And I'm going to go on Google and search Michael Brown shooting. And New York Times looks like a good place to start because they often report on what happens right away and what information they get. I'm just reading to see if they have any information that I can use. Seems to be arguing about what happened in the trial after the shooting, so I can definitely use this in my argument. So I copy the website and I'm going to put it in my Word document so that I can go back to it later. Because first I just find good websites that I can use, and then later on I go back to them to really pull it all together. So I'm going back to Google. Looks like there's a video on YouTube, so I'm going to click on it.
Now have something that, of course, we've seen. We want to show it to you. It's what you probably have not seen up to this point, the cell phone video that drives home the feeling that so many people here in Ferguson are feeling right now. It was taken a week ago, last Saturday afternoon. Michael Brown's body is still in the middle of the street after that 18-year-old was shot by a police officer. It was there for hours, uncovered, and a crowd, you'll see them, gather around, and they'll start to respond to police there. We have to warn you that there's a chance that you'll find this video and the audio very disturbing, but we think it's important.
Okay, so I watched part of the video, and it's from a news broadcast a few days later after the shooting, and it shows actual footage and reactions from people. So I'm definitely going to use this. So I copy the website and I paste it onto my Word document to go back to. And now that I have those two, I'm going to look for some scholarly articles on Galileo. And I'll search the same thing. And here I like it because I can um, actually choose what kind of articles I want to get. So I can look for some scholarly peer-reviewed ones because I know I'm going to need those. Right now I need two that are primary sources and two that are secondary. So these would be better for the secondary ones. And I can change the date. Okay, the first one says a community unraveled police shooting in Ferguson, Missouri. So I'm going to click on that one. This one's 2015, so it's a couple years after. But it looks like it has a lot about what I need. And it has references that I can go back to, so this is probably tertiary. So I'm actually going to go to these sources instead. This one's about civil rights. So I'm going to open up a new tab and put it into my search. Gonna look at the contents to see if it has anything I can actually use or not. And this looks like it's just all about SWAT rating and drugs, so that one's not gonna work. So I'll go back and try the next one. This one's another newscast. But I have one of those, so I'll try a new one. This one's the only one that doesn't look like news. So I'm going to put this in Google to see if it brings up the article. And it looks like it does, and it's from a government website, so that should be good. I'm going to click on it. And it's the full investigation report. So this one I can definitely use. So I'm going to copy the website again and paste it into my Word document. And I'm going to star it because it looks like a really good one that I might be able to get a lot of information from. And this helps a lot too because it's 105 pages, but it has a content. So if I want to say look for when the court imposes unduly harsh penalties for missed payments or appearances on the court, I can go to page 54. And here's the information that I wanted. So after I get all my websites together, I normally underneath them will like write what I find. So we'll go back to the New York Times article. Undo. And I'm going to put it in here. So now I would just kind of take notes underneath it and write how this one has in bullet points information to do with what happened after. And I'll often put examples of what I mean so that I can use them, and it'll make it easier to write my paper. So this one here has painted hopeful messages on a board up storefronts. So a bit vandalism. And things like this. And normally I would also take notes on where it happened and what the date was, and then after all of that, I'll create my citation by going to Purdue OWL. I just put it in Google and then the link comes up, so then I click it there. And they have MLA and APA, but this one I'm doing an MLA. I click it. And it has for in-text citations, and I like it because I can just basically copy it but put my own information in those spots. So this one I need for, where is it, web. So electronic sources. And I go down. I'm looking for a page, nope. Image, nope. An article in a web magazine. And what I'll normally do is I'll just go back and forth and I'll look here and see how it has the author first. So I'll find my author. It's Jack Healy. And I'll come over here and write above it so that after I can just delete the actual source. And I'll put Healy, Jack, just how they have. And I'll go back and forth for all the rest of that information. So the title. Ferguson still tense grows calmer, and I'll put that in quotes. Alongside the New York Times, because that's where it's from. And next, I'm looking for the date that it was published, November 26, 2014, and I'll type that. And I have to look for if it's italicized, because apparently that's important. And then web. And then the date that I'm on here is April 20th. And then if I look back here to see if it's indented, the next lines are, so I'm just going to do that too. And I click enter and then tab because it's the only way I know how. I'm just going to double check and make sure I did the same exact thing. Okay, so I put a comma here, but it goes here, so I'm going to go back. Okay. How do I stop it?